Welcome back to Al's Kitchen. This week I'm going to be cooking a nice garlic chili chicken balti in a nice authentic balti pan. Now this one is made of solid iron, so this is going to give us a lot of heat retention. We'll be cooking at high heat to extract all those lovely flavours from the spices, the onions, the garlic and the chillies, not forgetting to caramelise that all important base gravy. So let's check out the ingredients. Okay, so here we have a teaspoon of extra hot chili powder, and here we have half a teaspoon of garam masala, a teaspoon and a half of sugar, and half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of black mustard seeds, and over here I have cracked open 4 green cardamom pods. Crack them open so all the flavour comes out. Here we have a tablespoon of mixed powder or mulled Madras curry powder. Here I have stripped 4 green hot chillies. I've sliced them long ways and taken out some of the seeds. If you want it really hot, leave the seeds in. Now onto the lovely garlic. Here I have 5 cloves of garlic which I've peeled and very finely sliced. I love my garlic and want my garlic flavours to be flowing through the curry. Here we have 1 tablespoon of tomato puree. I've added a little water just to thin this out so it can pour nicely into the balti bowl when it's cooking. And over here I have a diced onion. In this bowl I have around 80 grams. We're going to melt this down in the balti first, and this will add a nice body to the gravy. Now onto the chicken breast. Remember when you're using raw chicken to cut it smaller than you usually would. This is because we turn curries out really quick when we cook them like this, and we want the chicken to be cooked well through. And this is a defrosted portion of my base gravy, around 300 ml in here, which I'm going to dilute slightly. So this is the ring I'm going to be cooking on. I'm very fortunate enough to have a large gas ring here that has a dual flame. It has an inner and outer flame, which really adds to the heat. And I'm sure you've seen this before. This actually came with the cooker when I moved into the house. It's a wok ring. Now unfortunately the balti bowl that I'm using is 7.5 inch and it's still too small for the wok ring. So what I do is I flip the wok ring over, and the little legs or the grooves that harness it to the metal rack underneath, I basically sit the wok ring on top. Now obviously if you can find a better way of stabilising your balti on your cooker, well done. This is the way I found to do it, and I do produce good results doing it this way. So let's get on with the cooking. So after we get our oil nice and hot, we want to throw those diced onions in. Cook them down for around 5 minutes until they're really soft and mellow and they start to singe. And then we're going to cook the garlic for around 30 seconds. This is the stage before we add all of our spices. So in goes the garlic. So fry the garlic for around 30 seconds, and now we're going to add the green cardamom pods. Remember that I've smashed them open so the little black seeds inside the skins come out and release all their flavour in the hot oil. And now I've just thrown in the black mustard seeds. Make sure you don't burn any onion on the sides, but keep the heat going, keep it nice and hot, keep drawing out all those lovely flavours from the spices that we're progressively adding. So once we've fried those down for a few seconds, we're going to add our heat sauce, the lovely green chillies which I've sliced. Just stir those into the mixture and fry them down for around another minute. So I've added all the powdered spices to one bowl so I can throw them all in at the same time, and this is really nice because this is where all the flavours will start to meld in with the onion and the garlic, and all the aromas will start to fill the kitchen. Make sure you've got your extractor fan on full blast if you have one, otherwise your house will start to resemble the smell of your local takeaway. So we're going to fry these spices out for around 30 seconds, not longer than that, otherwise they'll burn. And now I'm going to throw in the tomato paste mixture. Remember that I've added a little water to this to thin it out so I could just pour it in. Now the balti is really coming together. The intense heat that the iron balti is giving off into our ingredients here is really drawing out all the curry flavours, and the curry base is nice and rich at this stage. And remember, we haven't even added base gravy yet or the chicken. Bear in mind that in Indian restaurants they use very powerful flames. I mean, the heat output is tremendous compared to what I'm using, and they cook their curries over what I would call infernos. They're constantly also igniting the oil in the balti bowl and in the frying pans, and this basically smokes the oil and then yet again adds more flavour to the curry. Now I've just added my first ladle of base gravy to moisten things up. Now I'm going to cook this base out and cook it over a very high heat to sweeten the onion in the base to an absolute maximum. This is a process scientifically known as the Maillard effect, where basically the molecular makeup of the onion is going through all the stages of its sweetness, and we want to maximise that sweetness so we're left with a nice finished curry. So keep adding that heat into the balti. Remember, the sides of the balti that don't have any ingredients on it, you're getting hotter and hotter, which is why I keep distributing the contents of the balti around the edges of the pan so that all that heat then gets absorbed into the curry. Otherwise I would leave it alone and not agitate it too much, because as you know, this would release heat. So now we're going to add our raw chicken. We're going to cook this down for around 10 minutes. Now, as to how much gravy you like or how dry you like your balti, just do what you wish. If you want a more intense flavour, use less base gravy. Slightly less intense flavour, more base gravy. In goes the salt. In goes the sugar. Give it a stir and then throw in a nice handful of freshly chopped coriander. All that's left to do now is reduce the balti down until you reach your desired consistency. And the good thing about cooking a balti is that it's nice and fresh and it's ready to serve straight in the bowl that it's being cooked in. So there you go, a nice chili chicken balti. Just garnish with a little sprinkling of fresh coriander. Okay, so now it's time for the all-important taste test. So do remember, guys, this isn't a balti cooked in a frying pan served in a balti dish. This is a balti curry cooked in a balti bowl, and with all the intensity that you get from having a chicken balti. Otherwise, why are you having a chicken balti? You might as well just order a curry. Too often restaurants cook the curries in their frying pans and they transfer them to these fancy bowls just for decoration, and then you believe you're having a balti and you're not. There you go, take a look at that. Amazing, really rich, lots of in-depth flavours. So the good thing about cooking with high intensity from the iron karai, the balti bowl, is that it really draws out every last bit of flavour from the spices, from the garlic, from the base gravy, the onions. It literally takes all the flavour out of them and transfers them into your palate. I think now is a good time to subscribe if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more. Don't forget to click the like button if you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to polish off this beast and I'm going to make my way. I'm out and I'm out of here.